Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Last night, Saturday, November 5th, 2016, the big news story was the scare at the Donald Trump rally. The early headlines said there might have been a gunman in the crowd. The Secret Service had to rush him off the stage. This morning, the news was consistent with the same storyline. There was no gun. It was confusion. It was an altercation with a protester, and somebody in the altercation started yelling out gun. In truth, what all of this was a staged scene. By the end of this video, you're going to understand that the news creates propaganda by the numbers as tributes to history. We're also going to talk about the death of Abraham Lincoln, the first recognized presidential assassination in the history of the country. Not the first president to die in office, but the first recognized assassination, Lincoln. We're also going to talk about the death of Guy Fawkes. Remember the 5th of November? Talk about Guy Fawkes and what he has to do with the November 8th election and the word death itself. Lincoln, first assassination, was reelected November 8th and then shot April 14th. We'll talk more about that. We're going to talk about the death of George Washington. We're going to talk about a few other things. All of my videos, I attempt to pack in a lot of information so people can appreciate and understand this subject, which is new to most people in the world. Talking about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words, numerology, and how our history and news stories are scripted by these practices because we're living in a period of time where the people who control information in this world through media largely, they are Zionists, they are mostly Jewish. In the Jewish mysticism, there's something called Kabbalah where there's spiritual importance in numbers. It involves everything we're talking about. Numerology and gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Let's start here with the man that they are accusing of being the source of this scare yesterday at the rally, November 5th, Reno, Nevada, Donald Trump. They're saying his name is Austin Kreitz, and a lot of news sources are reporting that his age was 33 years old. We'll be talking more about 33. First, I want you to notice that the name Austin Kreitz in gematria sums to 48, just like the name Donald Trump. When Donald Trump began his campaign this year, his first stop was Arizona, the 48th state in order of statehood. The word propaganda equals 48 in gematria, just like hoax. Donald Trump is running a hoax campaign, if you will, completely based on propaganda, deceiving the people, making them think he's an outsider. He's nothing but an agent in the same gang Hillary Clinton belongs to. The name Austin Kreitz also has gematria of 174, like New World Order. Kreitz, gematria of 74. And just aside from the numbers, what I've always said since the beginning, these same numbers are coded again and again, especially numbers 33, 74. Here he is, 33 years old, 74 name gematria. The very first video, I taught people how to use gematria. I said, look for the pairing of 33 and 74. The Freemasons use it again and again. But in addition to that, I said, look for the bizarre spelling of names. How many people have you seen spell the word Austin with a Y in it? You know, Austin's typically spelled with an I. I've seen it with an E. A Y is pretty exotic. Austin. Of course, it's to get to 48, the coding that syncs up with Donald Trump. Hollywood also equals 48. So does Illuminati. Illuminati 48. Don't kid yourselves about the Illuminati. What it is a Freemasonic network, a Jewish Zionist network that operates by this code that they put before your eyes every day. Austin Kreitz, 33, was holding a Republicans Against Trump sign when he found himself in the center of the commotion. You know where this guy's from? He's from Chicago. And also, as I've explained since my earliest videos, going on for 3 years now, blog videos explaining that the source of this corruption in this country is largely Chicago and also New York. These people are all throughout the nation, but their stranglehold is no doubt Chicago and New York. These are the Zionist meccas. The word Zionist equals 112. Wall Street Journal just wrote, the Cubs are the team of the Jews. The Cubs win the 112th World Series. Zionism, the false Jewish movement. The nation of Israel, built on lies. Did you know that the nation of Israel was created by the United Nations, which has a symbol broken into 33 parts, with a 33-member vote on the 333rd day of the year, November 29th, 1947? Look it up if you didn't. It's true. I point out here that earlier this year on March 11th, there were the headlines about Trump's rally being canceled in Chicago because of the protest. It was getting violent, threatening. March 11th is an interesting date. It can be written 11/3 or 3/11, depending on where you are in the world. The words mainstream equal 113, dishonest 113, protest 13. A protest on March 11th in Chicago stopped the Trump rally. That's Hillary's city of birth. If the date's written 3/11, that's a lot like 311, which is the 64th prime number. Israel 64. Israel, the Zionists, Zion 64. The MVP of the 112th World Series, his son's name is Zion. Ben Zobrist, birth numerology of 112. The 112th World Series ended on November 2nd. Bill Murray, the biggest fan. His mother died on November 2nd. 1988, 28 years to the day, the starting pitchers of Game 7 for the Cubs, both number 28. Israel equals 28 the small way, 64 the big way. Bill Murray said he was the biggest Cubs fan. His mother's loss of life may be the proof of in the world that that's true. How many people would give up their mother to be part of a World Series ritual? This is the problem in this world. We're worshiping people because they're rich, and the people who are rich, they're rich because they've sold out to this gang, and they're put before our eyes on TV. You know, Bill Murray, a funny guy, but, you know, doesn't even need explaining. So anyway, that is the start to this, 48-33. Here's what else you need to know. CNN, right away when this story comes, Trump rushed off stage by Secret Service at Nevada rally. In Gematria, that sums to 205, just like Israel in Jewish Gematria. Watch my How to Gematria video. For each word, set of words, there's about 3 or 4 relevant combinations that you want to know. Think of them as synonyms for each other. Israel, 28, 64, 205. You're aware of those numbers. They come up a lot. Israel, as I've explained, for going on 3 years. Everything about Israel is coded with Saturn. Saturn is the keeper of time to the occult. Saturn equals 511 in Jewish Gematria. This story of Trump came on November 5th. Remember the 5th of November, written 5/11. It can also be written 11/5, the date JFK was shot, date with 115 numerology. Killing has Jewish Gematria of 115. I'll link this post in the description. Watch this video. You just click this button. It's about the history of Israel and Saturn. A lot of important information. This year, major tribute with the death of their former president at age 93. 93, the main number for Saturn, the keeper of time. They tell us the sun in this world's 93 million miles away. Anyway, this Trump assassination, it came November 5th, 2016, a date with 52 numerology. That stands out because Reno equals 52, where this happened. Prophecy also equals 52. As explained, going on 3 years since the beginning of this blog with countless examples, the prophecy code very relevant to this numerical code that the Freemasons, the Zionists, are putting on. Revelation, the final book of the Bible, is the book of prophecy and destruction in the end times before the return of Jesus. You know, think about this world, this nation we live in the United States. Military empire, runs on war, destruction, banking. If you never read Revelation, talks about the Church of Philadelphia and the false Jews. Philadelphia, the original capital of this nation. So Reno, Nevada in Pythagorean Gematria sums to 45. 45 is the number for the magic square of Saturn. So 45 has this Saturn relationship. Donald Trump is running to be the 45th president, as is Hillary. Mike Pence in Gematria equals 45. Here Trump is in Reno, Nevada, 3 days before the election, and an assassination scare, even though it was a false alarm. No surprises there. They love to hype things in the media, make them bigger and scarier than they really are. And the Wizard of Oz, remember Oz equals 41 like USA, 41 the 13th prime, 13 stripes, 13 colonies. In the Wizard of Oz, it's a man using screens and scare tactics to deceive people. Once he's exposed, with some brains, heart, and courage, the show's over. Same thing's true in this world. So anyway, 93, number of Saturn in propaganda typically. We're talking about the Saturn ritual here. Remember that Hillary became First Lady in 93. This election, it's coming up November 8th. And here's what a lot of people don't know. The story last night was the Secret Service had to take Donald Trump off the stage. The Secret Service were established the same day Lincoln was assassinated, April 14th. Lincoln was reelected that year, November 8th. Just like the election this year is November 8th, the word death in Jewish gematria equals 118. 11 times 8 also sums to 88, like the name Trump, which we'll talk more about. This happened last night in Nevada. The first Democratic debate was in Nevada. The first Republican debate was in Ohio. They are the only two states that sum to 47, just like the words agent and president. Democrats in Nevada, Republicans in Ohio. Donald Trump has now had 2 assassination attempts on him in Nevada in the last year. There was one on June 18th by a man supposedly from Britain. Got a video on that. And now in Nevada. I think the one on June 18th was Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Also, there's a Saturn ritual here. Again, Saturn is the keeper of time. Time has that gematria 47. In Jewish gematria, time also equals 144. The square root of 144 is 12. 12 months in a year, 12 hours in the morning and evening. Time, 144 in Jewish gematria. All throughout history, presidents have died by this number. Lincoln was shot on April 14th, a date written 14/4 in most parts of the world. JFK was shot on the first day of Sagittarius. Sagittarius in gematria equals 144. His brother Bobby Kennedy died at 1:44 in the morning on June 6th. Robert Kennedy equals 66. So does Sirhan Sirhan. Robert's 33, Kennedy 33, Sirhan 33. Number of Freemason obsession. He was also shot June 5th, which is the 156th day of the year. The name Robert Kennedy, the big way, equals 156. If you write out 33 as a word, it sums to 156. So anyway, look at this for Lincoln. The first presidential assassination, the day he was shot was the day he created the Secret Service. The 16th president created the Secret Service. The 33rd president, Truman, created the CIA, NSA, things that spy on us. When you write out 16, it sums to 33. Here we are in 2016. Very bizarre election. We're talking about Donald Trump. Donald Trump's focus in the media with the presidency began with Obama's election, who was from the land of Lincoln, began with the whole birther argument. The word birther equals 44, just like the word hope, which Obama ran on. Obama's the 44th president. All throughout history, 44 and 144 have been numbers connected to presidential deaths. The first death in office was April 4th, 1841, William Henry Harrison. He was the 9th president, died 1 month into his term on April 4th. Notice when you write out April 4th, it sums to 144, just like when you write out 44. Again, numbers of death and killing. Killer in Jewish gematria equals 144. MLK assassinated on April 4th. Malcolm X assassinated on a date with 44 numerology. His assassin got 44 years in prison. His assassin's name, Thomas Hagen, equals 44. The name Abraham, the first presidential assassination, 44. Again, Obama's the 44th president, but what a lot of people don't know is he is only the 43rd person to be president. That's because Grover Cleveland was number 22 and number 24, so the 25th president was number 25, but the 24th person. The count's been off ever since. So Obama's number 44, but the 43rd person. The name Hillary Rodham equals 144. Also interesting. She could very well become the 44th person to be president. So you see this pattern all throughout history. numbers of time, numbers of death, numbers of killing. Donald Trump's been getting a lot of assassination coding stories this year with these numbers, which I've covered if you watched in past videos. I've been talking about this pattern all year. So, okay, Secret Service, Donald Trump, assassinations of the past, and there's so many more with 44 and 144. That was just the tip of the iceberg. If you look up Lincoln's journal, supposedly on April 4th, he wrote that he dreamt of being assassinated in the year 1864. He would be shot 10 days later on April 14th. Notice 10 days later equals 144. Like April 4th, like 44. Abraham, Honest Abe, has gematria 44. I noticed that Nevada was established October 31st, 1864. That is Halloween Day, a day connected to celebrating the dead, Day of the Dead. Also, 1864 was at the close of the Civil War. We're talking about these Civil War parallels. I should mention that Obama's number 44, but he's the 43rd person to be president. Civil War in gematria equals 43, just like Charleston, where the Civil War began. Lincoln was born on the 43rd day of the year, the Civil War president. Obama having ties to the land of Lincoln. Donald Trump, he began his campaign for president June 16th, 2015 in Arizona. That was 508 days before this incident, and what it reminds me of Trump tombstone. Remember that story from Easter Sunday? A tombstone in Central Park in New York, Donald Trump. Trump tombstone equals 58, like secret society, like Freemasonry, a lot like 508. Zero is just a placeholder. So when you look at it in this practice, 508 is the same as 58. Freemasons, they're who are practicing the coding by the numbers and words. This is a Masonic, Jewish, Zionist practice. It's part of Kabbalah. The people who run our media, they're fully aware of this language. The people who create our news, our propaganda by the numbers, this is how it's done. With regards to Donald Trump beginning his campaign, June 16th, 2015, very interesting date. White House in gematria equals 166. The White House, just like secret society, 16/6, this date can be written a lot like 166. That was a date with 57 numerology. Scottish Rite equals 57. Scotland in simple English gematria equals 88, just like Trump. George Washington, a Scottish Rite Freemason, became president at age 57. Many of the first presidents inaugurated at age 57. This is the date Donald Trump began his campaign. We're going to be talking about another parallel between Trump and Washington as we move along. But this is the date Trump's campaign began, 508 days before the assassination attempt. Now, I've been saying that I fully expect Hillary Clinton to win the election. I'm still thinking that way. But if I'm wrong, I've explained why they would put Trump in. These people believe in order out of chaos. Trump will no doubt bring needless chaos as president, the way he promotes himself as the puppet he's willing to be. People don't recognize how they're getting played by this media, these candidates, and they need to wake up. Donald Trump is a puppet stooge. So is Hillary Clinton. All of our politicians are. They're all selling us out. We, the people, need to wake up, work together, put an end to this madness. The date of the Trump tombstone was Easter Sunday, March 27th, 2016. From that day to this assassination attempt, this is the Trump tombstone day, was 223 days. That's the number for Masonic, very important to the Freemasons. The number for the Synagogue of Satan. The name for the false Jews. The Zionist Jews. Coming from Revelation in the Bible, coded again and again in this propaganda. The Star-Spangled Banner, nation founded by Freemasons and Zionist bankers from the beginning. I won't explain this for now. These are important numbers in this ongoing study relating to Saturn. Very quickly, though, all of these numbers pertain to September 11th and the 93 World Trade Center bombings. They're also coded into yesterday's event. If Donald Trump is elected the next president, he's not going to make it 4 years. His campaign's going to end with a staged assassination. I have no doubt about that. I've been tracking how there's all this Donald Trump assassination foreshadowing, and I've said this before. If he becomes president, it's going to end with an assassination. He'll be the 44th person to be president. Reno, on the 39th parallel, the 119th meridian. Remember, New York equals 39. This is a New York versus New York election. Hillary and Trump with the New York connections. 119, the date September 11th is written in most parts of the world. Number for all-seeing eyes, Star of David, master plan, Star of David, symbol of the Freemasons and Zionists. Symbols on our currency. That's what we're living out, a Masonic master plan. Controlling money, media, information, history, making people live lie after lie, settle for bullshit, such as rigged elections between two assholes. In the media last night, they kept showing these military police there. I mean, look at this. This is what's going on, people. It's not about Hillary's email. It's about waking up to the lies, recognizing how the police are looking more and more like military. People don't see how they're being taken straight to hell day by day. Ongoing ever since September 11th. Lie after lie, and way before that. But since September 11th, the lies have gotten thick and nasty. Thicker and nastier. Do you remember when Trump was making the headlines for saying Second Amendment people, how maybe the Second Amendment people can take care of Hillary, and for days it was like, was Donald Trump hinting that Hillary Clinton should be assassinated? They were comparing it to how, what's the woman from Alaska who ran as vice president with John McCain in 2008? I can't think of that woman's name, but remember how she had the campaign with the targets on the different Democratic representatives, and then one of them was Gabby Giffords, and she got shot in Arizona? Anyway, that date of those stories that began was August 9th. From that day to November 5th is 88 days, or 2 months and 27 days. Again, Trump equals 88. It's also a span of 89 days. Amendment equals 89. Imagine this. We've been given all this propaganda about these false shootings. And what people don't understand about the false shootings is it's not about taking away your guns. It's about selling more guns, scaring people needlessly, making people think they need more government. Government gets more tax money, gives it to more bureaucrats that print out more needless paperwork. You just get more and more background checks, more bullshit, more money for the system, more taxes. Hillary Clinton in the 90s, as First Lady, said if she was president, she would make mandatory gun owner insurance and higher taxes. Anyway, Second Amendment riddle. Just think, if Donald Trump gets shot running for president, it could happen tomorrow. All year they've coded 117 over Donald Trump. Tomorrow's November 7th. Central Intelligence Agency equals 117. Could happen tomorrow. It could happen a year from now. What I'm saying is, it doesn't matter who wins the election. They're two puppets. Let's say Donald Trump loses the election. After the election, Donald Trump's not going away. He has a big movement right now. He has a big following. He's joked that he could create a TV network just to shut down Hillary and what's going on in the country. Imagine Donald Trump becomes this folk hero in the media, another almost like a Julian Assange or Edward Snowden, who are also controlled opposition, if you will. Right now, Donald Trump is controlled opposition. He's being promoted as outside the system, which he is not. But anyway, just imagine Trump loses the election and becomes like this folk hero, and then he gets assassinated. That could happen too. And that will trigger the same kind of chaos that they want. There's so many ways they can go with this narrative. I'm just explaining this because people get mad at me. They say, Zach, nobody's getting assassinated. I'm saying, look, people, I'm only spreading this knowledge to show you how throughout history they've coded the same numbers in the killing of, people who are made icon symbols, which Donald Trump has been made into in this presidential campaign. Just trying to get people to see what's really going on. It's all a show. Hillary Clinton's only the Democratic nominee because it's all a show. Bernie Sanders had the whole country turning out for him. Nobody cares about Hillary Clinton. She's the Democratic nominee anyway. Right now, there's all sorts of Trump supporters, which is not a good sign for this country. But there's no support for Hillary Clinton, and she very well will win the election because it's all rigged. Whatever people see on the TV, they believe for the most part. I know the Trump supporters aren't going to believe it. Donald Trump's already told them it's rigged, and everyone sees what's going on. Nationwide, there's no support for Hillary. I'm up here in liberal Seattle, and there's no support for Hillary. There's more Trump bumper stickers in Seattle than there are Hillary bumper stickers. That should tell you something. So anyway, there's that piece. Now let's talk about Guy Fawkes, who's remember the 5th of November, the gunpowder plot of 1605. So here's what's up. This guy's name, Guy Fawkes, in gematria sums to 118. Number connected to death. The election's 11/8. Again, a Lincoln was assassinated after being reelected November 8th. Secret Service incident by the numbers last night with Donald Trump. False flag. You know, the guy with the bizarre spelling from Chicago it's blamed on. I just wanted to see something from the 5th of November to the day Guy Fawkes was killed, January 31st. That's 87 days. The name Clinton equals 87. Remember in spring training I said the Cubs would win the World Series. It's a tribute to Hillary Clinton winning the presidency, and the Cubs won 8-7. Hillary from Chicago. It's also a span of 88 days, or 2 months and 27 days. And real quick, just on 227, look at this. The Ronald Reagan assassination attempt happened at 2:27 in the afternoon, or 33 minutes till 3. He was the 33rd governor of California. It happened on March 30th, 3 plus 30. You know? Lincoln, the assassination attempt on him, he died supposedly at 7:22 in the morning. 7:22. If you divide 22 by 7, you get the number 3.14. If you write out his words, 22 divided by 7, all his words spelled out, it sums to 314. A lot like 3.14, the number for pi and cycles and circles, like the world we live in, like the way these Zionist Kabbalists spin the propaganda through the numbers. By the way, talking about time and cycles and circles, 88 represents time. That's why in Back to the Future they travel at 88 miles per hour. 8's the infinite loop, like time. This morning, the Trump campaign was getting criticism from the media because they posted a retweet that Trump had survived an assassination attempt when it was already mainstream knowledge that there was no gun there. So why was his own campaign hyping up something that they should have known if they were responsible didn't happen? And, you know, remember, the media is all a show. It's meant to divide people and pit them against each other. The reason they report like this, the reason campaigns do things like this is because it's all about exploiting the psychology of the programmed American mind. And that is a mind that just goes with whatever narrative it favors. The mainstream media will put out 2 top stories. One will be pro-Republican, the other pro-Democrat. The Democratic people will cling on to this Democratic story, ignore this Republican story, and vice versa. Republican will cling on to this, ignore this. So what goes on if you just pay attention to the news, it's just all bullshit, dividing people over nonsense. People getting played. Here's Trump on August 9th, Second Amendment people. They emphasize that phrase, Assassin 101. Second Amendment people 101. Trump calls out to gun owners 101. Show you something else about this number 88. Remember when Donald Trump was given a Purple Heart by one of his supporters earlier this year? That scripted narrative after the Democratic National Convention where the actor father, pretending that he lost a son in the war, got into the feud with Donald Trump. Really, all of that is propaganda by the numbers. Go back and watch the videos I did on it. Anyway, somebody in his crowd came out to support Trump in the wake of the criticism for calling out the father. They gave him their Purple Heart Medal, which goes back to George Washington, the year 1782. The word soldier 82. Medal for soldiers, which Donald Trump is not. This happened in Ashburn, Virginia on August 2nd. Soldier 82, Ashburn, Virginia 82. George Washington from Virginia, who created this medal. I pointed this out. Donald Trump's GOP convention began in Cleveland on July 18th, the date written 18/7, exactly 187 days before Inauguration Day. George Washington equals 187 the big way, 88 the small way, like Trump's 88. Trump at his convention that same day, it was also 88 days after the Queen's birthday. Trump 88, purple 88, think about the Queen, purple. Elizabeth 88, he came out to Queen that day, we are the champions. We are the champions equals 84, like United States of America. The point is, all year, Donald Trump news has been created by the numbers. From this Purple Heart thing to the fake assassination story in Reno that turned out not to even be an assassination. George Washington died at age 67. He was a 33rd degree Master Mason, Scottish Rite. Donald Trump, Scotland 88, Trump 88, Scottish Rite Freemasonry. We talked about Scottish Rite's 57. Trump started his campaign, 57 date numerology. George Washington, president at 57. Anyway, I noticed that Washington died December 14th. He died at age 67. Freemasonry equals 67. Blood sacrifice, 67. There's also this thing with the Republican head of the FBI, James Comey, and I noticed he has that December 14th birthday as well. Interesting date. Anniversary date of Sandy Hook shooting, so much more. But there's a major riddle here with Trump and the FBI. Remember, they said the FBI is waging this political narrative not seen since Hoover against Hillary while withholding information about supposedly Trump being tied to Russia and Putin. You know, all of this stuff is propaganda, bogus nonsense. What people need to understand is we're in worse position than we think. The United States, we are not a sovereign nation. We were created by this Masonic banker empire. Jewish Zionist banker empire, New World Order empire. New World Order is an old world order. They run Russia, they run the United States, they run a lot of places. Russia, United States, they're all in bed together. If Russia and the United States go to war against each other, it won't be the first time two nations ruled by the same Freemasons have gone to war with each other. In fact, it would be the third time worldwide as we know the world wars, all created by the numbers, by the Freemasons. Think about the First World War, number 1. They say it ended on November 11th, 11/11 at 11 a.m. 11/11/11. What's 11 plus 11 plus 11? 33. Masonry 33, secrecy 33, federal 33, order 33. If you've never read my blog, read my long post. It's like literally 100 pages, written pages worth of history and wars by the numbers. Revelation and the Birth of a Nation draft. Search for that on my blog, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, what I'm showing you all these posts off of. But this is what it is, Truth Seeker. It's all a script. It's all a script. These are puppets up here. Watch Donald Trump in 2008, how much he said he liked Hillary and Bill Clinton. Called Hillary the best Secretary of State. Called Bill Clinton one of the best presidents ever. Said he loved Hillary Clinton, great woman, honest woman. 2008, not all that long ago, Donald Trump talking up the Clintons. It's all a show, people. Just like in 2004, George W. Bush, John Kerry, both members of Skull and Bones, the Masonic Order at Yale. Remember, Yale in New Haven, Connecticut. Yale 43, New Haven CT 43. Home of the Bush political dynasty. George H.W. Bush, 43rd Vice President. George W. Bush, 43rd President. Jeb Bush, 43rd Governor of Florida. Yale 43, New Haven CT 43. You know who else is part of Yale and Skull and Bones? Theo Epstein, who just won the World Series 57 days before his 43rd birthday. World Series 57, like Scottish Rite. Till next time, Truth Seeker.